Are you having problems in the bedroom? Are you having problems with your sex life? Well, I know just who to talk to, and that's Lori. CoachingByLori.com is where you could set up voice, video, or text sessions to talk about sex, to talk about intimacy, kinks, fetishes, taboos, fantasies, or your sexuality. You could talk about coming out and what to expect when you come out. Lori is a sex therapist and talks about your sexual health. Lori's offering all new clients 20% off their first session with the coupon code WELCOME. That's Coaching by Lori, LORIE.com. Coupon code WELCOME, WELCOME, for 20% off your first session. Ladies and gentlemen, Suds Media is an official affiliate of the WWE Shop. Whether you want merchandise from the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, or the Hall of Famers, the New World Order, or from WrestleMania itself, scan the QR code on the screen or go to suds-media.com/wrestling merch, and it gives us a commission to help our show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dockside at the Bay. My name is Vinny. This is Kim. And
hi, everybody.
We do apologize for not bringing you an episode of Dockside last week. I was just way too tired on Tuesday and just couldn't record. But
happens
you
to the best
probably
of us.
What?
Happens to the best of us.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It does. And you would probably know why if you watched us Monday night. We started a new series live every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, on all of our social networks, especially YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and the like, and actually streamed live on LinkedIn too, which is the first one has that order out, because I don't know many shows that actually go live on LinkedIn. But either way, it's called Gate Crashers. It now has its own RSS feed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so check it out. And it's all about the brand new soap opera, Beyond the Gates, which Kim, Angela, and I, all three of us, are going to be doing that every Monday at 10. It immediately follows Suds News, which is every Monday at 8. But, Kim, we're back on the Bay. It seems weird going from one show to the other like that.
A little bit, especially with a little bit of crossover cast, too, because you have Mike Manning,
yep.
Who I've gotten to know as Smitty. Now I'm back seeing him as Caleb, which,
yep.
just shows how versatile and that, because, different characters and everything like that. But it's still funny to, kind of see them, crossing over from one to the other.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And so as Kim said, Mike Manning does play Bradley Smitty Smith on Beyond the Gates. And so he's one of those crossover characters, and it's great to watch the differences. And obviously, we're watching the Bay. We're not watching it live, so we're not watching it, on the normal feed, which is on season 9 right now. As always, I do want to remind everybody that the Bay is can be seen from seasons 1 to 6 on Peacock, seasons 1 through 7, and Bay the Beginning on Amazon Prime. Tubi TV has season 1 to season 7, and Popstar has season 1 to season 8 on demand, and they're currently running season 9 on their live feed. So multiple different places if you want to watch the Emmy Award winning The Bay.
Yep, lots of different platforms for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Today we're going to be talking about season 5, episode number 3. And I believe it was entitled The Getaway.
Yes.
And
yes,
I really enjoyed, I don't know, like I was kind of taken aback to see how far away from Bay City Sara was.
Right?
Because
I thought the same thing, yeah.
The first, the beginning of the episode, we see Sarah's running away. Obviously, she escaped the hotel from Jensen. And, she's in the woods again. I mean,
yep.
she's coming out of the woods.
They probably just were like, you know what, we filmed you running around here for so long. We're just going to use all that footage that we can, just
Yeah.
bring it, keep blended that in. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So, but this time she's approached by a car. We see the headlights, an SUV coming up through the clearing, and then the car turns off, and the lady gets out and says, Sarah Garrett, is that you?
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah, this time, Sarah runs at her and says, come on, we got to go. Get in the car. We got to get out of here.
Saw a car, it's like, okay, good. Your instincts are, absolutely correct here. Please get in the car, get away, stop running around on foot like a crazy, just handle this. So, and come to find out though that it's Andrea,
Yeah. Yep.
Drea, who we were introduced to previously, but yeah, no, she comes riding into the rescue, which I was like, oh, good, okay, friendly face.
Yep, she's a
Thank
reporter.
God. Yep. The reporter who was willing to kind of give Liana a bit of a break,
yep.
and has Colton's her brother, and she knows what he's all about. So she's, but it was cool just seeing like woman riding up to the rescue and just being like, here I can
yeah.
Oh, thank God, finally.
So it brings two questions. The first one being, what the hell was she doing in driving in that area? Because it looked like she was on a dirt road. It didn't look like she was on like a main.
It did. Yeah. It looked kind of, they're out like, backwoodsy sort of wherever area, which, I don't know, suspending a little disbelief here. Maybe that was just like an open stretch of road where they could just kind of film freely and not have to worry. And they just figure, yeah, you know what, we're going to get from downtown LA or wherever, downtown Bay City to, kind of this woodsy sort of spot. And, we're just going to kind of, have all this happening all in the same span of, and she's going to get there on foot and everything's going to be fine. And
exactly.
But hey, at least she finally found some, a vehicle that she can get into that she isn't being like thrown into or something like that, or, just forcibly pushed into. At least now she can, properly escape.
Exactly. And she's, and of course you can't say it's somebody she can trust because we don't really know her that much. And
True,
and Drea makes that statement. I know you don't know me very well. You think I'm just a reporter, but
right.
So, but anybody's a friendly face when it comes to opposite Steve Jensen.
Yes. And, like as soon as like, she's kind of, Sarah says like, yeah, it's like, this whole situation with Jensen, like her asking like, well, what have I gotten myself into? It's just wanting to know for, all intents and purposes, which makes sense. And then Sarah's just like flat out says, well, yeah, he's lost his mind.
Yeah.
He's tailing us and he's crazy. And she makes, just very bluntly just says that. And it's just like, oh, okay. Okay, cool.
No, exactly. That's what it basically comes down to, is that now she's, she's just out there. She's like, he's going to come after me. He's going to come. He lost his ever-loving mind.
Yep. Because as proven by like, the unhinged sort of way that we last saw, his, he was definitely giving off like certifiable like vibes, just very.
But it's like I want to know what his motivation is. Like, we know that obviously he's been obsessed with her, but is he obsessed with her money? Is he obsessed with the properties?
I think it's just a big package deal. I think it's he has like also like power and clout and stature, like having that money means that he can just because he was like living large. He had his club and he had like he was like doing the whole thing with like just the prostitute thing, and also just doing all these shady misdeeds and all of this. But he was like Mr. Garrett, who's part of that empire, and he was just kind of taking advantage of that for all it was worth. But he does have like, it was clear in even the scene where like they kind of have that most vulnerable that we see Steve, when he basically like kind of says like, well, we took you in and we were like that whole moment, like he's clearly still hung up on her and clearly still regardless of like all of that. So it's just a big I'm surprised he doesn't have like, like one of those like stalker boards or something like that,
Yeah, right.
Probably does somewhere for all we
I'm
know.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's got something tracked, or her phone tracked, or
Yeah.
GPS. Absolutely, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, just I think he's just obsessed with everything about her, and but the thing is, it's like, okay, so you're obsessed, but then like, when he's holding the knife, like, was his intention really to like go in there and like, just freaking fillet her in the shower? Like, what was like
Yeah,
his? Yeah, I mean, it's just, but you're upset, but yeah, for the sake of the money, maybe there was something involved in, just culmination of all of his obsession, and then he gets in the bathroom and just sees that she's escaped through the the wall, escaped
yeah,
through the
exactly.
ceiling in the
Yeah,
air duct. So,
which was
but
smart on her part. I mean,
oh,
she
absolutely.
she's
Still
thin
don't
enough.
really know how she managed to finagle that, and how long it must have taken. I mean, he must be like, well, she likes to take long showers, because it would take a significant amount of time, I would think, to pry that
And
vent
no,
down and be able to.
well, right, especially because there didn't look like there was any chair in there for her to, reach the
Yeah.
screws. And yeah, you got to suspend disbelief a little bit. But
Very
yeah, I
clever
agree.
way to escape. Yeah, very, it wasn't like, just jump out a window. No, they went, above and beyond trying to find a different escape route for her, which was cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it was it's a good thing at least she managed to escape his clutches, but now it's like, now she's on dirt roads again and trying to drive away, and yeah,
yep,
he is crazy, and she's, when she tells Drea that, I mean, she's just, yeah, he's lost his mind.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, no, it's I'm still anxious to see how it turns out. So I mean, what's really cool about this is that very rarely do you have one story take up multiple seasons. Like obviously
true.
with because Sara got kidnapped at the end of season 3, and then all of season 4 she was in the cabin with Adam and Steve, and now
Mhm.
she's finally on her way, hopefully on her way back home. But the
Right.
beats have been fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
and
It's almost
granted,
like reminiscent of like longer stories, like on All My Children. I remember they did and I remember this from when I was like a kid, just occasionally like seeing my mom watching it. But they
mhm,
had a storyline where like one character had lot threw her twin sister down a well, so then that
oh,
way she could impersonate her and take over her life. And I mean, that went on for quite some time. But, it's like the whole abduction thing, keeping a person
mhm,
a secret and all of that, it's like the pacing with this is kind of reminiscent of that, where it's just like, eventually that, like, she's going to get out of the well, Sarah's
yeah,
going to find her way home, what have you. But the way that they like kind of let it play out over an extended stretch,
yeah,
it's very soapy. And that's very
it
cool.
is, and it's
It's not like a
and
rushed,
what's fun.
thing
Well,
or anything like that.
what's fun about it is it takes you out. It does make it feel like a regular soap, because as we're watching it weekly, it's like the beats are there, and we're
Hmm.
looking at it episode to episode. You got to remember, during its original release, like the end of season 3 to the beginning of season 4 was months, you know,
Right. Oh,
while
yeah.
it aired, and then again between season 4 and season 5. So
Hmm.
it does. It's as a soap opera, you're used to the episodes being the next day or the same day or whatever,
Right.
but
Right.
not when it's similar to like the pacing of like 24, where you're
Yeah.
going through
Yeah.
it in real time.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's just kind of, it's funny how with like the different, but it still manages to like follow soap logic, even though
Yeah,
it's in like this kind of streaming sort of space where, it's different, obviously, but it still kind of follows that formula, which is why, why we like it so
yeah,
much.
exactly. Um, so back in Bay City, while Sarah's finally getting a ride back, P is at the hospital talking to the doctor who's
Hmm.
ready to perform the surgery on Adam,
Yes.
and Pete has to give Adam blood. And
Yeah.
I
Yep.
love the inner turmoil that Pete's going through, where he says, you know, part of me needs him alive because we need to know what's going on with my mom. But the other
Mm-hmm.
part, I just want to see him dead.
Yep.
Just so powerful and emotional.
Yep. I mean, when the doctor comes up and she's like, you're next of kin. Are you willing? It's like, he can't consent to this transfusion. You have to be the one to sign off on it too. Not just the
Yeah.
fact that he has to give him his blood. He has to be the one to say, you can take my blood,
Yep.
because he's next to, there's so many different layers wrapped up, just given the fact that this guy is, technically his brother, but, just that struggle, like you said, that inner turmoil. And
Yeah.
Christos did such a good job portraying that too. I mean,
yeah.
just that, such good scenes. But even like, you've got the, he hates the idea that they share blood, but they can't escape it. And then like you have RJ though trying to chime in, all be supportive. Well,
Yeah.
every family's got a bad seed, he's trying to, just kind of. But he's clearly tortured about this whole thing, but knows he has no choice. It's like the only way that he's
Yeah.
going to figure out where Sara is if, he finally gets, Adam to wake up. And the only way that's going to happen is, magic twin blood. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Doesn't a hospital have a blood bank? Couldn't it give maybe?
Well, yeah. But see, here's I don't know all the logistics about it, but it is theoretically possible for them to run out of a specific type of blood.
I'm sure.
And
it's just,
and I know what
it's on your blood. It's like,
well, right, and I get exactly what you're saying, but it's at the same time I didn't realize are Christos are Pete and Adam identical twins or fraternal twins? I mean, obviously with the actors, Christos and Chad Duell don't look alike. Christos and the other guy that played him until Christos takes over both roles. So later seasons, folks. I know that's a spoiler, but yeah, it's like, do all twins have the same blood type? I mean,
yeah, that's I don't know.
Identical
was not my
I don't know about fraternal.
School, so. Not too sure on that, but it's just
Google search.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just I know I'm like, and obviously it's like, okay, if you've got a family member there that has the same blood type, you can get the transfusion. It makes sense, but I would just be like, really, there's no more blood just stashed somewhere that you could just kind of dole out to them. Yeah, does it really have to come from me?
No, my phone must have been listening. First thing that popped up: do all twins have the same blood type? Identical twins usually have the same blood type, while fraternal twins may not.
So, interesting.
Who knows? Maybe.
Well,
but I mean, and it does help that a family member giving blood.
Yeah,
they're right there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just being, just because it's like the weight on the hero's shoulders. Not only does he have to sign off on this, he has to, give his own blood to save his.
Yes.
It's no, it's just kind of funny in that sense. But yeah, I mean, you've got it where, but with the hospital though, I mean, we've got it where we see Tony. Tony comes into the picture, and we get reintroduced.
Sean Blakemore.
Yes.
I love Sean Blakemore. I loved him on General Hospital. Great. He also had a role in 13 Reasons Why, which is a pretty good show on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that actually. Yeah. But no, he kind of comes into the fold here, just going to be here for a while, kind of establishing like he's still since Tobin's departed, the town needs the news, kind of so he's like, I'm going to be here for a bit. I'm going to be here. But he's talking about just keeping Sara in his prayers, everything like that, and he kind of you have Pete kind of parlay the whole conversation into wanting him to represent Liana because like, well, the family and all of this stuff, and she could use, and you can tell that Tony's not too keen on that. Yeah, he's a little, because he says like all he really wants to see done is justice. But not necessarily, him being the one that's going to like represent all of this stuff. But he does kind of, Pete really kind of sticks to his guns on that. And you feel like Tony's maybe, amenable to like, representing and helping her out, stuff like that. But Yeah, firecracker with a heart of gold is how he
Yeah,
called her, or something like that. It's like I do appreciate, Pete still trying to the whole thing with Liana and everything like that. Him just trying to, stick by her and make sure that she, it's like good continuity in that arc
yeah.
in that sense and everything. It's so sweet.
Well, yeah, because
Um,
Pete has a heart of gold. Like he
yeah.
cares. He cares about Leon, regardless of the fact that they're not together as a couple or whatever. He does because he cared about Janice, and
Mhm.
you
Right.
know he never stopped caring about Liana. It's just
Right.
they were toxic for each other as a relationship, but and just all. I mean, now we've talked about it. Liana probably has the absolute worst life experiences in
Oh
Bay
yeah,
City at this point.
for sure. Yeah.
From Bay the beginning and seeing her finding out that her biological father is Lee Nelson um and when he cheated on Sara or vice versa or whatever. So,
Mhm.
she finds out that, she and Marley are sisters or half sisters. And then just to not even get a chance to meet him before she sees him being blown up in an
Yeah.
explosion.
If you want to talk like who's had like the most, hard knock life in Bay
Yes.
City, she wins that award for sure. But
I
even
would
like
love,
I remember really even the scenes when she's in jail and Pete comes to go and visit her. I mean,
yep.
those scenes are just so powerful. You can just see like the depth and how much he cares about. Like she is just at that point, like at her absolute lowest, and he's just there, like it's so sweet to still see, him just in her corner on her side, wanting to make sure that, she gets the best possible. And, it's nice that they touch on that in the midst of all. I mean, because obviously Pete's going through hell too, but,
Yeah.
he still has the time to just kind of advocate for her, which is just like, oh, you lovable hero boy.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yep.
I would love who plays her. Um, Liana Ramos. Who plays Liana? Jade Harlow.
Um,
I
yes.
would
Yes.
I would love to get her on the podcast and just talk
Oh,
to her
yeah.
about
Yeah,
playing all those different beats and all those different.
for sure.
That's something I'm gonna have to look into
Yep.
and see
No,
what
she's
she's doing now.
No, she's awesome. And just yeah, Liana has been through the absolute ringer. It's like just, justice for our girl. Give her something.
Oh wow, she used to play on Days of Our Lives.
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Again with
Okay.
the soap crossing over.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm gonna have to look into. I'm gonna try, folks. We haven't had an interview on the show yet. We have been told that when we get closer to, current seasons, Gregory Martin will come on. We have interviewed, Eric Nelson played Daniel. That was on the podcast that's on. We
That
have
was
interviewed
so much
Jordan
fun
Nelson.
getting to
What?
chat with him. That was
Yeah,
so fun getting to chat with him.
it really was. It really was. And I'm going to the Samantha's Friends event in September, so I'm hoping to kind of get my business card out there and
Oh yeah.
um, make some new friends and contacts to hopefully get some more interviews. I know that's still 6 months away, but who knows? Um,
Who knows?
we're gonna start. I'm gonna start peppering people and asking people to come on to do our
Yeah.
podcast. So
Yeah. Chat with some of these people that are just, these talented beings that are just, giving us these characters we love. It would be really, really cool to see that happen.
yes, exactly. All right, let's move on. We see that uh, we see that first Damien and Avery they have a scene at the door, and Damien's like,
Yes.
"Do you want to come stay at my place?" And she's like, "I would love to, but with the family."
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so aren't they some type of cousin relationship?
Uh, are
Because Damien Blackwell is obviously John Blackwell's son,
yes,
who
yes.
comes from well, I don't know. We
Is
still
it
need
like
to
a
do
kissing
the
cousins
family
kind of
tree.
thing where there's a slight sort of because if you do have John Blackwell and Sara who are technically related.
They're because they're half
Yes,
siblings, right?
Yes.
But
So
Avery is a Garrett, so that would be
Avery is Sarah's niece. Yes.
Yeah, Avery is Sarah's niece. So there's a cousin.
There is a little bit of a
There's a little bit of let's just say it's probably legal in Alabama or something. But first cousins can get married in New York. So I mean,
on days currently they have Stephanie's character with Alex Kyriakis' character.
Yeah.
And technically there is some sort of like a, familial sort of because of the cousin sort of situation.
Really?
But he's adopted technically. He's not by but there's still like a little bit of a cousin sort of overlap there, which many people have just kind of brought up, but it's just like, what are you going to do? The two actors have chemistry. They're putting them together. I don't know.
How's the lineage there? Because isn't
Alex because of Adrian. Because Adrian technically, it's more adoptive because Alex was brought in, but raised by Adrian, and Adrian is technically Stephanie's aunt. So therefore,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of a, and people have pointed that out, which, it's, what are you going to do?
I like Stephanie and Alex together though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was a little hesitant to see them kind of put back after, because they've just had the ups and the downs, but it's the two actors do have a certain kind of chemistry together. And it's the same with, you're going to put these guys together and there's going to be some like twisted family sort of, tree stuff happening in the background, especially with the Bay though too, because the Bay, it's like, it's a smaller sort of, circle of families and things like that. But no, I never really thought on that before between Damien and Avery, but you are right. There is that little bit of a link.
Yeah, there really is. But either way, she wants to spend the night, but she says, no, I have to stay home because of all the family turmoil and,
right.
and whatever, which, okay, I completely understand that. But then Caleb,
and I love how they see the photo of Red Garrett, though.
Yeah.
Like, Damien sees it, and he's just like, and then, Avery's just like, it's kind of crazy that we have that hanging up there. The creepy photo.
Like, wouldn't you think take it out and get rid of it or burn it or something? I mean, who knows? It might haunt the household.
I mean, they kind of had that moment to just kind of get the history that's happened with our families in this place, and all of this. It's
just like Days, because they have Stefan DeMera, the portrait hanging.
Oh up. The portrait.
He was a bastard to a lot of people. So
but they like just gabbing with and talking with once in a while with that portrait. EJ especially, you'll see that it's just just chatting with with Dad.
Well, EJ is closest to Stefan, so or Stefano.
Yep. Or Steveno when when Steve was playing. Gosh, Days keeps on creeping in here. I don't know. But no,
it's all soapy, folks. It's all soapy.
It is. We're just all reveling in the overlap.
By the way, I do want to let everybody know that next Monday, the 17th of March, we're going to be doing our selection show for the second annual Soap Stars March Madness tournament. I'm going to go ahead and show you all the brackets now and how it's going to shake down this year. Beyond the Gates is has been added. So 6 shows, 4 different areas or 4 little mini tournaments. General Hospital has its own bracket. We've got Bold and Beautiful and the Bay sharing the bracket as they're both half-hour shows. So that's a half-hour location, half-hour area bracket. Days of Our Lives has their own bracket. And then Beyond the Gates comes in to share a bracket with Y&R in the CBS bracket. So we're going to be doing that next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on Twitter or Twitter X, YouTube, Facebook. Maybe I'll throw it on LinkedIn as well. But Kim will be joining Angela and I, and we've got a new way of choosing the names. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And we'll talk about in the middle, we might end up encompassing the entire time for Beyond the Gates or Gate Crashers and Suds News, but we'll end up talking about both those shows in the time slot while we're doing it. But either way,
yeah, good
we're
stuff.
gonna have fun with it. It'll be the second annual Soap Stars March Madness tournament, and they'll all be polls on Twitter X. So for those of you that may have, may not be paying too much attention to Twitter X, be on there for those tournament polls because that's the easiest way to do it.
Yep.
So with that said, the only thing that sucks is that the two people that were in the finals last year, John Black and Sophia Madison, have both passed on. So,
yeah.
And they're respected actors as well.
Yeah.
Drake Augustin and
Jackie Zeman.
Zeman. So,
no, it's very, especially knowing too that well, we've seen on the, with the Bay, tributes that have, current sort of, in regards to Sophia's character with Jackie Zeman, everything like that. But, this obviously tributes for John. They're kicking off that storyline now. It's like they're starting to plant the seeds for it, and it's just when it eventually gets to that point, it's just going to be a pretty it's difficult watch for sure. Just given no, it's but we still it'll be nice to kind of get a chance to, I don't know, this is like a fun way to kind of pay honor to like all of our soap people that we like, doing the bracket thing, doing so it'll be fun, and I hope we get a lot of participation with it too.
We did last year. The John Black fans kind of ran away with it. We had the Sabrina fans who ran away with it. Every time a specific soap Twitter community gets a hold of something, they'll share it and share it alike. So
True.
We saw that a lot with like.
Hey, I was out there trying to represent, for Kayla. I know that she was like in the early running, but no, it'll be fun diving back into that for sure. It feels like we just did it though. It feels like honestly like no time has passed since we did the first one. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it was been a year already. So that's next Monday, March 17th, live on Twitter X, YouTube, and the like. We'll be talking we'll be doing the selection show. So we got a brand new layout, brand new way of choosing the names. I think it's going to be a fun time.
I think so too.
Right,
so I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, we gotta dive because there was a little bit. I mean, we had Pete at the hospital, obviously, and then we had the introduction of our friend Caleb in this episode.
So Caleb
played by the lovely Mike Manning,
and is at the door, and Avery is taken off guard.
Yeah, because she's not expecting just this high school friend of her brother's to randomly be showing up and being like, "Hey, I'm crashing here."
Exactly.
It's like a seamless intro though for him. Like, Dan didn't. Daniel didn't tell you I'm a teacher at Bay City High. All of this stuff. There's a little bit of confusion. Oh yeah, I was told I could stay at the estate. Just seamless. Introduction to this character who winds up becoming pretty significant character too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cute the when Avery or when they have the phone call and you got Caleb and Avery like kind of discussing, and Caleb just kind of being like, oh, what's going on, handsome devil? Sorry, wasn't there when you got in. Daniel is just so cute in that scene. I loved it. But just kind of, and then
it's great that Daniel is actually accepting who he is now. He's not so he's not so quirky. I mean, we see a little bit of the apprehension about telling Caleb that he's gay, because Daniel tells Avery, don't mention we're gay, it's not like that. That's not that kind of relationship, friendship, whatever. Come to find out, it's like they're changing, and Daniel comes in, and Caleb is just getting out of the shower. He's wrapped in a towel, and it's a very awkward scene, almost like.
It is.
There's just a lot of unspoken dialogue there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got it where like, you can tell, like, there's just that tension there, and it's just it's as soon as, like, Caleb walks out, you can just, but Daniel just kind of chalks it all up to family stuff, and that's why
Yep.
he's like a little, and then he finds out too that Caleb had a fiance, but they broke it off.
Yep.
Becky or Betty, they can't even get the name straight, but you do have like it kind of that moment where they kind of recapture, like, oh yeah, let's go out and, like, grab drinks like old times before I have to start grading papers, and then it's just like the tension kind of eases off a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, you can definitely, just even when Daniel is like sitting on the bed and he has his back to him, just you
Yep.
can't even look at him while he's, it's like, oh, honey. So
Because he's still ashamed. He doesn't know how to act around people that know him. Like,
right.
It's one thing, like, guys when they hang out, if they're not like women, I don't know. You get into a whole philosophical debate, because between the way guys act when they're together and the way women act when they're together. Daniel right now just doesn't know how to act around anybody, because he doesn't want people that actually know him to know that he's gay. But at the same time, it's like people that don't know him, he's more comfortable around,
Yep.
It's just, I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, no, it's just tough because it's like, this is just like, his friend from school who he's gotten together with. But then it's like there's a whole other dynamic now that's in play because, of where he is currently in his life journey and figuring himself out and everything like that. And it just adds all this tension. And, you can tell Caleb is like picking up on it and just trying to. But like as a jumping off point, because, spoiler alert, the two of them, become, involved.
Yeah.
But, as a jumping off point for the two of them, it's like, this is like where they kind of started out a little bit with, and it's an interesting, just knowing what their journey is going to be from here out is just kind of, and the actors do just have like a chemistry that I just love,
Oh yeah.
Even at this stage, just very, so it's exciting to know like that relationship is going to be ramping up.
Yes. God bless you. My dog sneezed.
Oh.
God bless you again.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Oh.
All right. Sorry about that, folks. I had a sneaking dog under my feet.
But yeah, so we had with Daniel and Caleb obviously, but then we also had some scenes with Sophia, kind of Sophia kind of telling she doesn't want for Riley to worry about Pete and forgiveness and all of that, because Pete will forgive because he's our big-hearted golden boy, and of course he will.
Yeah.
But Jack and her are watching the news all about and can we talk about just how horrible this reporting is?
Oh God!
Invasive?
Talk about
good Lord! I mean, we've got it where like they're asking the priest, "Do you think that Sarah's still with
us?" Yeah,
like
it's worse than freaking CNN.
Just you've known her for a long time, and then poor Zoe is there too, and you've known her for a long time. Yeah, she's a good friend. Do you think that she's still with us? And then it's so, oh my God, just hit you over the head horrible in terms of what they're asking.
Horrible.
Oh yeah, but then Sophia rightfully, just immediately turns it off. She's like, we're not watching this anymore. And then, but they did have kind of a sweet moment, her and Jack, where, she starts talking about her kind of psychic abilities, but how she feels like she might have failed him with this, and she wishes she could have seen more. But he's just like, police solved some stuff because of you. I'm sorry in the past I've doubted you. It was just a sweet moment between the two of them, to kind of balance out the horrible moment caused by that reporters, because that was just that was really bad.
Oh yeah,
and we
absolutely right.
And we also had, just a brief little, we had Evan at the hospital too. And his little conversation with Tamara. And, she's still in kind of spy sort of running around, sort of keeping secrets, sort of, she's
hard to read. She's very hard to read where she's at, because you would think that she can at least turn it off when she's talking to somebody that she's with, right?
Right.
You know, and separate Ninja Tamara from
Ninja Tamara. No, that's
yeah,
actually a perfect way to put it. Yeah, because like even when Evan tells her he loves her, she just gets like this hesitant, like freaked out kind of look. She says it back to him, but she like has to. It's like she's trying to like separate herself out from like
she's
this
caught off
admission
guard
that she's. Yeah, she is.
because
It's
she's
just
opened her heart before to, you know, to Colton, but also before that to the other bozo that would.
No, she's definitely been burned. So it's
Yeah,
obvious why she's kind of. And then you got Evan, who's just trying to be like, just this sweet guy, like, oh yeah, swing by your place when I'm done here. We'll hang out. He's just thinks everything is casual and cool and everything is good. And bless his heart. Then you have poor Tamara, who's just kind of like, still, still
like
freaked for obvious reasons, and still just
she's freaked out that Steve's going to release that sex tape.
Yep.
Not realizing that Steve has his hands full, that Sara, bolted and escaped. But it's like Steve has his hands into everything at this point. Like Tamara is so afraid. First of all, I'm sorry, but Tamara, baby, a sex tape gets released, your stock is going to go through the roof. It happened.
But
the only reason why Kim Kardashian is actually famous is because of a sex tape. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, she's just not wired like that. She just doesn't want to, make it to the top that way. And you got to, respect it. It's like, that's how she wants to get through. And she doesn't want, Steve and that whole thing, like, it's a part of her past that she's just trying so hard to lock down.
Yeah.
Too.
Exactly.
And the whole association with Steve, and she feels like she can't escape him, and it's so sad to watch, because it's like it's the same pattern we've been seeing. It's like she gets in like with these controlling, abusive, insane men, and like it's like she keeps on trying so hard to break free, break away, and now she has a man in front of her who just genuinely cares and is sweet and lovely, but he's also the DA. There's like, that whole other, because, she was wrapped up in some pretty shady things. And then all of a sudden, like, the guy that she's with is like the district attorney. It's like, that adds another layer to her hesitancy and, everything with that too. Because it's just like, yeah, you accept me and everything, but this is all stuff that I have done.
Yes.
And this is the life that I have lived. And you're Mr. Legal Eagle. It's like, how is this gonna, how's this gonna work? But yeah, no, she just that like that when she says I love you, but it takes her a beat, and she's just so hesitant about it. It like just it breaks your heart. It's just like, oh, honey.
It does. Yep. But yeah, she's I'm anxious to see where it goes going forward, because it seems like she's not ready. She's not ready to give her heart to him, and
right.
He's that dumb guy where he's reading so much into, them being together. He wants to give her everything, but she's just not ready to take it.
Yeah. No, but in a way, it's like their relationship kind of came into being pretty fast too. Because, it started out where like, he was like, well, you like, stole from me and you were running away. It's like it was kind of like a whirlwind, because when they get together, they're running around in, Belgium, and they're trying to get through like,
it's almost like a Bo and Hope type relationship.
Right. Where it's just like, they're running around like in this like crazy adventure together. And then it's like, okay, now we're back in Bay City. Now what? Almost too. And Evan is clearly smitten, Mr. Like dropping I love yous. And, he's just, he's just kind of sitting back like, oh yeah, like I'll swing by your place. We'll hang out.
Yeah.
Everything's, so it's just, it's interesting, but their dynamic and their chemistry is great. And I really, I like the relationship a lot, and just like the, ups and downs and everything. But yeah, Ninja Tamara needs to separate out from regular Tamara.
Yes, agreed. All right. So did we hit everything? Was there anything else?
I think so. I think we caught everything. Pete had mentioned too, and it was just kind of not a throwaway line, but he kind of mentions how Jensen has cops, which we already know.
Yeah,
obviously it's been established, but Pete just reestablishes how Jensen has like police force guys within the
right, because that new cop came over from San Diego who happens to be one of Pete's friends.
Yeah. So they just kind of, he's kind of just basically saying like, yeah, Jensen's got eyes everywhere, including, he's got folks within the police department too. So, and then we get the little tail and cliffhanger with Sara basically just cluing Dre in, just being like, yeah, we're getting chased by a crazy guy. Have fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
either way, they're on their way back to Bay City, and Sara should be there soon. Hopefully.
Yep. She does get there eventually. Just, we're still has to get out of that well.
Yes, exactly. But folks, we've talked about everything. We're just about out of time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dockside at the Bay. Kim, where can everybody find you?
So I am on Twitter /X at Misfit8690, and on Blue Sky as well. And then A Little Misfit 52 is my YouTube channel. So and we've done some streaming for Gate Crashers through that YouTube channel. So feel free to check that out. And
I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start. Normally, what I do is upload just the file to YouTube. I think what I might do is start adding this as because I'll tell you off air. But yeah, we have streamed Gate Crashers to her YouTube, A Little Misfit 52. So go ahead and check that out. As always, you can find me at Vinny Suds on both Twitter, X, and Facebook, at Suds Media on Twitter, X, and then Suds Media, I believe, is also on Blue Sky. And then on YouTube is youtube.com/@Suds-Media. But for everything Suds, you can go to suds-media.com. And my new blog is also on suds-media.com, but also it's going to be on pettyprattle.com, which is Angela's website. So we're just growing this thing. We're growing it. But we will be back next week to talk about season 5, episode number 4.
Yep.
No, episode number 4. And we'll see you Dockside at the Bay. Have a great night,
everybody.
Nope, not that. That.